Hey, good morning. I'm Dennis with Impatient Creations, and I'm really excited to tell you about this Lemans convertible that we're doing. It's a 1966 Pontiac Lemans, and it's just a stunning car. It's got all the bells and whistles. It is a neat car. The owner brought it to us from. He bought it and he brought it to us to make it, let's get it out and exercise it, and let's make sure it works, and what doesn't work, let's get it fixed, and so that sort of thing. But we went through the brakes, we did several things, the engine, the cooling system, the radio, and several things like that. We have worked on these kind of projects, and they're a mainstream of our business. People just want some work done and some, make the car more friendly for them. A lot of them want air conditioning and different things. So this is our mainstay. It's fun to do some of the big, exciting projects, but this is what we do routinely every day. So what we do is we take the cars and we drive them. And now we're going to drive them maybe a little harder than he would, but we're going to try and find out where its weak points are. And sometimes we have to call and get ourselves towed back because things, electrically break or the ignition breaks down or whatever. So many of our clients are like that. They want to just get their car looked over and get it tuned if it needs it, whatever. And in Alabama, we've got a lot of issues with overheating, cooling systems. And I hate to concede this, but back in the 60s, I was cutting into every hot wire I could find to run a reverb or, amplifiers or more speakers or just stuff that I wanted to add to the cars. So these systems have had some tug of war on them. But let me tell you about this car specifically. We did the same kind of routine. It came in as a driver. The top wouldn't work just right. We found out that there were some electrical issues with the switch, and that was basically it. But that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. When we start seeing little problems with electrical stuff, well, there's probably others looming. So we go through it and we get it running, and we find out that the 3-speed transmission is not shifting in all 3 gears. Well, we figure out that they haven't done the TV cable correctly, and so we make that adjustment. And so now it shifts in all 3 gears. It's just a good cruiser. So we get out and cruise in it, and the electrical system starts to break down. So the ignition system. So we replace the distributor and put in a electronic ignition, if you will, and then we replace the plugs and the wires and got everything, got a new coil in it, and really got it juiced up, if you will, and it just makes a lot of difference. Well, then we find out that the timing is not right. Well, the shell on the timing mark, if you're familiar with those things, can shift a little bit. So we remarked it and set it up, and it's doing fine. So little things like that. Then when we get it out on the interstate and go 70 mile an hour, where if you're just putting around 40 or 50 mile an hour, it may not be an issue. But with this one, we ended up with some heating problems, overheating problems. So we replaced the water pump and we replaced the radiator. Now, it was done in steps. We didn't just wholesale go through that, but we started with a water pump and moved through it, and it eventually had to have a radiator. So now all of those things are handled. We put LED lights in it so that he can be seen and see. When we get to the audio system, we replaced we took his original radio, pulled it out, and took all the guts out of it, and now he has a 4-speaker system radio. Now we didn't put speakers in it everywhere. We put the speakers back in the original location, and we upgraded those speakers, but he's got Bluetooth, USB ports, charging stations. So it's been modernized just a little bit, just enough to make it work well. We also had to do on the cooling. People just put fans on and things like that. We had to find out exactly what it was designed for and the shroud that it had to keep the originality of the engine. It's little things like that that make it a fun car, because it's those things you run into. Well, why is this? Why is that? And so we get out and test and put sometimes 150, 200 miles on it. But it's a really neat car, and it's a mainstream of our business. Thank you again for enjoying what we're doing, and we appreciate you, and we want to ask you to continue to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you, because we've already got over 100 subscribers now. And we appreciate this opportunity to share this with you, and wait till you see our next project.